Hi, my name's Jim Huffman. I'm the owner and CEO of Wasatch Crest Treatment Services.
And I'm Rich McDonald. I am the Executive Director of Wasatch Crest Treatment Services.
Rich and I go back quite a ways, actually a long time even before working together here at Wasatch Crest, over 20 years now. And our friendship really started as ultra runners here in the Wasatch Mountains.
Right, yeah, we met at a race in, essentially a 100-kilometer trail race in Provo, nearby, a few minutes away, and started running together, and we ran together really quite consistently for 10 years, something like that?
Yeah, 10 years until I retired, and Rich kept going, basically. And so really it's been a really awesome journey for us to have started as really dear friends, and training probably 3, 4, 5 days a week together, running these crazy races. And people would always ask us, like, well, you must have a screw loose in order to even be running these races in the first place. And we probably did, because we knew each other before we needed to be in recovery. We knew each other when we were both needing to be in recovery, and we've now continued that friendship as two men in recovery. And so it's the journey has had some pretty interesting chapters.
Yeah, it has. It's I think it's interesting to look back and think, we both finally decided that we needed help and needed to get sober within probably 9 months of each other, I think, something like that. And the journey to the point today where we've been working together for over 5 years, and what we've been able to develop and build at Wasatch Crest has been pretty remarkable.
And I think what's interesting about it is that during the early chapters of our friendship, and when we were running together, we were both doing different things, and before we got sober. And after we got sober, we both sort of found our way into the same area. And I'll let Rich tell his story about becoming a therapist. But for me, it was finding my way into this industry, where my background had been other things, non-treatment industry oriented for many years, and to have had recovery become such an important part of my life. And then to be able to combine sort of recovery and business into one area has been a really amazing thing for me.
Right. Yeah, I think for me, when I did my undergraduate at the University of Utah, my long-term plan was to become a therapist. But you graduate and you think, I don't know if I can do more school, and you have kids, and you start building a career. I just never decided to go back. I was happy where I was at and what I was doing, and it took me going to treatment and realizing that I needed to do some work that had some significant meaning, to deeply, something I'm deeply passionate about, but also like giving back and being a positive force in our community, and I want to help other people. I decided while I was in residential treatment that I probably needed to start looking into graduate school, and I had a couple champions along the way, one of them being one of my therapists in treatment. Every time I saw her, she said, "Have you applied for graduate school? Have you applied for graduate school?" So eventually I went back to school, and I also would have never guessed I would be working in addiction recovery. So the fact that I get to do this every day, combined with how important my own recovery is for myself, it's true. I'm filled with gratitude.
It reminds me in a sense of my dad, who Rich knows, my dad Denny, who was a career park ranger. Ran national parks for the National Park Service for over 30 years. It's where he started his career. It's where he ended his career. And I'll never forget my dad saying he felt like he'd never worked a day in his life because he loved so much what he did for all of those years, and he loved the parks that he managed and protected, and he loved the experience that he had in that area. And I think that's it makes me think of that a little bit in what we get to do now, and the rewarding, how rewarding it is, and that it doesn't really feel like work.
No, it doesn't. I don't think. I tell people, for the past 8.5 years or so, as a therapist, getting out of bed in the morning, I can't think of a day where I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I can't go to work. There's days I'm, know it's going to be a tough day, and there's tough situations that come up. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's work. I feel like I get to do what I love every single day.
And I think it's probably interesting to note, just in terms of the journey and the story and maybe even the timeline a little bit, that, Rich and I started these journeys in the recovery area independent of each other, where he had gone back to school to become a therapist, and he had started working at this program, which was previously under a different name. And I had sort of found my way into the recovery industry in the same time frame, but we were both in different areas.
Yep.
And Rich called me one day and said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming in here and becoming the new owner of this program?" And my response was, absolutely, I'd be interested in taking a look at it, because we were both in the same area. And when that transition was completed in December of 2016, Rich and I both knew that we wanted to create sort of a new brand, a new legacy, a new road. And so we wanted to rebrand the program, and we wanted that name and that brand to represent something that was also integrated with our story.
Absolutely.
Our story as friends, our story as ultra runners, and all these things that we had done. And we started playing around with different names and thinking about different names. And the name that we came up with was Wasatch Crest. And the reason we came up with Wasatch Crest is it's named after the trail, the Wasatch Crest Trail, that we trained on probably, 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
5 a.m. in the morning, evenings, headlamps on, the whole thing.
It's good, yeah. It's the cool thing for me too is I can sit in my office and look at the Wasatch Crest Trail. Can't see the trail, but I can see the Wasatch Crest, and it's the mountains behind us here. It's right there, and I think it's a good reminder of why we're here, what we're trying to do, and it's super important. And I think it's important to mention the fact that it's not just the name. It goes a lot deeper than that. It's about the programming and the kinds of experiences we try to help our clients have. Being in the mountains, not everybody's going to start trail running, but we can sure get them out moving and get some real experiential groups and other things that really, my hope is that by the time somebody leaves here, there's at least a spark of some passion about something. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the mountains, but that's a great place to be in recovery for me. And if we can help people find that, they're going to love recovery.
One of the things that I think is unique about Wasatch Crest is that both our ownership and our overall leadership here entails people who are also in recovery. And I think that's really, really important, because it means that we understand from our own experience what that journey is like. And I think for Rich to be, some therapists and some clinicians aren't necessarily in recovery themselves, and that doesn't mean that they're not a good therapist or they can't relate. But I think being a therapist and actually being in recovery himself, for Rich, has given him a really unique perspective that our clients can really appreciate and feel really connected to you and their experience in working with you.
No, I think that's for me, not only do I get to help people with their recovery, but I get to look at many of the experiences and stories that clients share with me through a lens that I can really relate to where somebody has come from. I think that's was really important to me to build something special here, something that sets us apart from other programs, and a huge piece of that is working from a place of love and respect, and really helping clients find that passion, build the life that they want to protect, find the things that maybe they've lost through the process of addiction, or new things that get them excited. I think we do an incredible job of meeting clients where they're at. By the time a client finishes residential and moves to the next level of care, I think most of them would look back and say, what I thought was going to be the worst or the hardest experience of my life turned out to be something beautiful that I'll always remember with real fondness and nostalgia.
And I think what I really like is you use the word relate. And I think that's important because for us, each client or family isn't, it's not a number. It's we can relate. We can relate what it feels like to be in that place at that time, and we can also relate, I think, to the importance of those moments of opportunity for our clients and their families to start that new journey here with us, and how in some cases that may be their only shot,
right?
And how important it is to be there for them at that time, and to know the meaning of what that means.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the biggest responsibilities we have is to take the fact that this is a deadly disease. Like, we cannot forget that. And I'm glad you said that, because I talked with the team about it quite a bit. Like, this may be somebody's only shot at recovery, and I better be able to go home at the end of every single day and know that I did everything I could on my end to help them get there.
So we're now almost 6 years into this.
Right.
And what a great journey it's been. It's been really amazing to, all these different chapters for us.
Right.
To, as runners, as 2 men in recovery, and now really working together to build something that we're really proud of.
Absolutely.
That's really unique and different. And I think it's by no accident. When you look back on these different chapters of our lives and kind of weaving them together, it's by no accident that we're here today, that we're engaged in this work together, and what an awesome experience it's been.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Oh, I think, this is what I get out of bed in the morning excited about, and to be able to do it up here in the beautiful Wasatch Mountains and watch people's lives change in front of my eyes. What a gift. I'm super grateful for that, and the opportunity I've had to work with Jim. It's crazy. I agree, it was not a coincidence.